So guys, I was out and about driving. Actually, I've been down to Littlehampton to see a friend, and driving back, I spotted this car that had been burnt out. It's an old Vauxhall Corsa. Obviously, someone's probably first car, possibly. Obviously, don't know the history of it, but I thought they always look quite interesting, don't they? Old burnt out cars, and I know it's a destruction type of thing, but I just thought, you know what, I'm going to have to stop here and just take a few snaps really. So using the a7R4A and the 50mm f1.4 from Sigma Art, I thought I've had this lens a little while but don't really use it. So I thought, you know, let's get it out and have a little play. So as you can see, here's one shot here I've edited already. I've just gone black and white because I think the textures and everything work quite well. So I thought I'll take a few close-up-ish shots and just to kind of show you the damage and things like that really. Also got my car in the background there, shooting a bit too shallow really. F1.4 probably shouldn't have really done it like that, but you know, it is what it is. You can see obviously some of the detail there. I was focusing on this area here, as you can see, but I probably should have been shooting it at sort of f4 really to get a little bit more depth in there. But you know, it is what it is. I might just go and just see what it looks like previous. Yeah, because it just looks a bit more moody when it's black and white, I find. So I quite like that. Let's open that shot anyway. And then there was one of the spare tyre. Well, I believe it was a spare tyre, or no, I think it was one of the wheels was missing completely. So as you can see here, it's all burnt out. The lighting was crap. It was getting dark, and as you can see here, you know, I'm still shooting f1.4 just to get, you know, the subject correct, and obviously try and blur the background out a little bit. It really smelt as well. It was grim. Things like black and white, I quite often crank the clarity up just to give it a bit more sort of oomph, especially things like this where it brings out, you know, things that, you know, also the textures as well you can crank up to really give it some sharpness and, you know, extras without adding sharpness as such. We could turn up the vibrance just to bring out those oranges or the rust if I keep this as colour, but then see what it looks like as black and white. Yes and no, I don't know, maybe I'll keep this on colour just because I quite like the orange on there, but you can see all the stones and glass that's melted, and obviously the wires in the beading of the tyre and all that, so that's quite cool. And then shooting through the actual car itself back to the front end, and this will just show you how sharp this lens is. Shooting at f1.4 still, I think, yeah, 1.4, 200th of a second. You know, it really is a really, you know, it's a really stellar lens. The only time I've seen this kind of struggle is when you're shooting into direct light, and it just doesn't really like shooting into bright light, where if I stick a G Master on like the 135 it's absolutely fine. But then price difference, you know, that's what you're getting for. So this shot here, let's go auto level, see what it does, brightens up a bit. Might crank the contrast up somewhat. It's not a particularly good picture because the only thing that's in focus is that area, so when you pull out everything's just a bit blurred. That's a little bit crap really, so I might just cancel that shot. This I thought was quite mad. So these are like the plastic bollards when it opens. Plastic bollards are just completely melted. It's just crazy. Yeah, not particularly nice obviously. So the fire from the burning car melted about 3 or 4 of these. So yeah, not brilliant. So that's an interesting shot as such. The actual car itself, there's a picture here. That's an old Vauxhall Corsa, or an Opel Corsa maybe, whatever you want to call it. So that's auto levels, that's what Photoshop thinks it should be. It looks pretty good. But I quite like sometimes having it a little bit moodier. As you can see here, people have been jumping on it. So let's crank up the the clarity nicely and a bit more texture to really bring that out. And then I'm going to pull the shadows up just to show the engine heat shield and everything there. Even the horn's still there. No rad or anything, but you don't know the history of this car. Why was it stolen, or why was it being burnt out, or what actually happened to it? You know, were they trying to? Was it used in things, or was it just stolen, joyrided, and just burnt out? We don't know. But hey ho, black and white kind of looks alright, but I think actually maybe the colours in this need. If we go into colour mixer, we can just crank up the saturation in these colours here, and because it's autumn, you can see in the background there, I'm going to crank up the colour there, and it kind of works. I mean, it's all personal choice at the end of the day and personal views about it, but you know, it is what it is. But it don't look too bad. Still shooting at f1.4. I probably should have stopped it down a bit, but I was literally just pulled over for a couple of minutes just to see what it was. I just noticed it and thought, So yeah, we've got another more forward-facing shot here as well, and I'm just going to go and do previous settings. It does look quite good. You can see the melted posts on the left there. It just looks quite interesting. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that really, and not really go. I mean, black and white, what's that going to look like? It does look cool in black and white as it goes. But I think we'll just leave it as is. What else we got? Oh yeah, I did a bit of a just to show. Oh no, I don't want to actually open it yet. Hang on. I was going to show the mess as 4 shots, because it says there's a nature reserve sign there, but it's got someone's tagged it as well, so it's just really annoying that, you know, the damage has been done and you've got people doing pointless graffiti, whatever that says, dins. I mean, yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is going to highlight these 4 images. Then we're going to right click and we're going to go merge to panorama. Okay, we'll merge all 4 images together. So it's 4 61 megapixel images merged together because I've overlapped them. There we go. So that's the shot we're going to see. We've got a back, so depending on what it's going to show, it's a little bit. So I'm going to actually as much as I can. Auto settings, merge. We'll just call it there, and then we can see what it's like. Then now we can edit the shot because it's all been blended, and then we can actually maybe crank up this a little bit, make it look a bit more moody. Drop the whites down, but there you go. It's kind of looks all right. Color mixing, we'll crank up the oranges a bit. Add some autumn colour. Just crank up the saturation slightly. What else have we got? Greens. I've got too crazy on the greens because it's quite punchy. But yeah, I think as an image works quite well. So here's a couple of the shots as saved. I don't know if the quality looks much better, but there you go. Shot with the Sigma 50mm art lens for the Sony, and on my Sony a7R4A, like I said earlier. Minimal editing, just processing really. I quite like it in black and white, like I said, but also the colour works quite well as well. When you just up the saturation on the sort of rusty bits, just brings it out a little bit there. Just a shame about the damage really. More taxpayers' money out the way. And then I just filmed on my phone. I actually did it in slow motion by accident, but as you can see it looks quite noisy. Like I say, it was getting quite dark. It doesn't look it on the video because obviously exposure is dealt with and things like that, but it was sort of almost time to put your headlights on. It was getting sort of a bit dull. So it was heading that sort of time of the day. As you can see, cars have got their lights on anyway. But yeah, as you can see, it was quite knackered. It was definitely not going to be used ever again. So yeah, shame. Probably someone's pride and joy, or their first car, like I said, that's possibly been stolen or something. I don't know. Don't know the full story. But this happens quite a bit, especially on the older cars because they're easier to steal. There's the shot again. Probably my favourite shot. Like you say, the 4 image or whatever it was merged together. Works quite well. So anyway, guys, don't forget to click the subscribe button, little notification bell as well, and I shall see you soon.